welcome to the Boy Time Podcast. I'm John Amplis, and as always, I'm joined by Babby.
Mm.
We have a fun and exciting podcast planned, as always. We are continuing our Halloween marathon. I watched Martin this week as part of Romeroween, and I don't know what you listened to as part of your Halloween album marathon.
Secret.
It's a secret, and we'll get to it later. But yeah, right off the bat, no news. So we're just gonna jump into the hit films. I watched two movies this week. One I thought was pretty good, but nothing super special. And the other one I kind of hated. So I don't know if I'll have a whole lot to say about either of them. Maybe more about the one that I hated than the one that I didn't. But yeah, might be shorter on the film side this week. But I guess we'll just jump into it. We'll start with Martin, George Romero's. I was about to say hit film, but I think that is definitely not the case. Um, According to Letterboxd, less than 500 people have rated the movie, so I don't know what that even means. Compare. Let me see what like Dawn of the Dead has. Um, okay, 3K. So that can't be right. There's way more than three. Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong statistic. Okay, I don't know how you become a fan of a movie. Maybe it's like putting it in your top four or something. But still, not a lot of people have heard of Martin, and compared to George Romero's other movies, it's kind of a departure from him. And by departure, I mean I think it came out before Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead, 1977. It's about a 30-something-year-old boy, or at least that's what he looks like. And he's moving to town. Uh, I don't know. I think it's Pittsburgh because all of George Romero's movies take place in Pittsburgh because that's where he's from. And so he moves to Pittsburgh and he's moving in with his elderly cousin. And his cousin's first words are like, I'm going to let you stay in my house. I know that you are a vampire. I know that you are Nosferatu. I will destroy you, but first I will let you stay here. And you can't kill anybody in the town for your vampire, you know, for being a vampire. You have to go out of town, but I will let you stay at my place until I ultimately defeat you, my evil cousin Martin. So that kind of just thrusts you into the movie right away, where you're just like, oh, okay. That kind of lays out exactly what's going to happen through the entire movie in the first like 5 minutes. And yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of it's an interesting tone that this movie goes for because at no point are we ever it's ever confirmed whether or not he is a vampire. Martin is I mean, he's out in the sunlight. He can see his reflection. He can eat garlic. He's not scared of crucifixes. Basically, all of the like mainstay vampire things, Martin does not have. So the only thing that he does have is he has these crazy urges to drink blood, but he doesn't have like teeth or anything. So he has to do it very specifically, where he has like needles full of drugs that will knock people out, and then he slits their wrists and drinks blood that way. Uh, so yeah, that it's kind of it's an interesting idea, you know. The whole time, kind of guessing like, is he a vampire? I'm personally of the belief that he is, because I think it's implied that the old guy he's staying with is like his first cousin. So like I think that's kind of a little clue or a hint where it's like, okay, this guy's not aging. Even if he doesn't have any of the other symptoms, or if you want to call it that, you know, he's not aging because he's drinking blood and has these insane cravings. But it's also entirely possible that um, he's not a vampire. He's just a mentally ill boy who has these, who's like a serial killer, I guess. And his cousin is like just a crazy, like throughout the entire movie, he's shown to be like a crazy religious zealot who like is like super Catholic and like in like by the end of the movie, even as tensions are really high between Martin and the cousin, where the cousin is like pretty much outwardly hostile and is like, I'm going to try to kill you because I hate you so much. Uh, the he's still like, okay, well, it's Sunday and I'm not going to show up to church without you because that's going to be embarrassing because it's all performative, I guess. I don't know. So I don't know. It's an interesting kind of balance that the movie brings, and I think it clocks in at like just under an hour and a half. Let me see. Oh, okay. It's 95 minutes, so it's like in and out, and it doesn't like sit too long, which I appreciate. Actually, both of the movies that I watched this week were really short, or not short, but how long a movie should be. Uh, so, yeah, I think the movie's fine. I will say it gets really, really uncomfortable because they show the killings in depth. You got Frank Ziti doing the effects, and Frank Ziti is in this movie too. He just keeps showing up, but this time he doesn't have his signature mustache. So I was a little bit disappointed. Uh, but he is in the movie a little bit. And George Romero is in the movie too. He plays a hip young priest who the crazy cousin invites over, and he's like, "Oh, you believe in demons and vampires, priest?" And George Romero's like, no, not really. You know who would be really good to talk to about that is the older priest that also works at my church. Like completely just like, I don't want to deal with you. I'm gonna make you someone else's problem because I don't have the time or energy really to devote to your crazy rambling nonsense. So I think that that's kind of like a little thing, a little nod to like be like, okay, this guy is a religious zealot, but I think George Romero was kind of saying in that moment, I don't think that all Christians are like this. I think it's just this guy's an extremist. So I'm going to kind of put this character in and I'm going to play him where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to clear the air, uh, which, I think is fine. But oh yeah, I was going to talk about the kills, the Frank Ziti, Tom Savini kills. They are very, very good. As always, Tom Savini does great work in prosthetics, um, but it is uncomfortable because another part of this movie, uh, unfortunately, is rape. It is in the movie a lot. Martin not only kills the people that he, or whatever, kills and drinks their blood, he also assaults them to the point where about halfway through the movie, he calls into a radio show. That's kind of like a recurring thing. He calls into a radio show and talks about his vampirism. And he's like, yeah, I've never done sexy stuff without uh, drinking blood. And that's how he describes it every time. He's like, the sexy stuff. He never calls it by just like, I had sex with this person. It's like, I did the sexy stuff with that person, which also that might tip the scale to be like, okay, this might just be like a mentally ill kid that's just killing people and raping people, and I don't know. I don't know. um, but yeah, it's very uncomfortable watching him because it's like there's these naked girls and he sticks them with a needle and like they like struggle and he's like, don't scream, it's okay, you're gonna fall asleep. And then they fall asleep and then he does his business and then he slits their wrists and drinks it and then we see all of this. And I'm like, I didn't really want to see any of this, honestly. I could have gone without. Um, I think there's maybe a more tasteful way to do what you're doing. It does feel kind of schlocky and exploitation-y in parts, which is something I don't usually associate with George Romero. I think of him kind of as a higher class horror director. Doesn't really fall into that category like a lot of 70s and 80s horror directors do. So I don't know. That was kind of disappointing. But yeah, this movie is fine. It's pretty good. It's definitely the worst Romero movie I've seen, but I mean everything else he's made is great. So sorry, George, if you were alive. I'm sorry I gave your movie a negative score, or I guess it was a neutral score, whatever. Next week we're going to be talking about Land of the Dead. That's right. There's another zombie movie that George Romero made in 2005. Well after the trilogy, he came back and did another zombie movie. Is it as good as the other ones? I guess we'll see. And we'll also talk about why that happened, because that's an interesting story. So stay tuned. Next week's going to be talking about Land of the Dead, and probably another zombie movie that's going to fit into that story. So just stay tuned. I know everyone's so excited for the Land of the Dead uh, um, review, because everybody loves Land of the Dead. So we'll talk about that next week. But I thought a nice pair for Martin, I thought it was going to be more of like a depressive vampire thing where it was like, oh, isn't it like all of the other depictions of vampires are like really sexy, they're these hot, goth freaks that just so happen to drink people's blood, but like they're super stylish, and it's just like all of the things they have to deal with. Well, I mean, that's just the consequence for being a really awesome, badass, hot hunk. But obviously Martin doesn't do that. And so I thought, okay, I'll do something along those lines where it's like, actually, everything is terrible. Like, it's a horrible existence. And I was going to watch Near Dark, which is all about that. It's a group of vampires that it's all about how it sucks to be a vampire. Unfortunately, Near Dark is not on anything. And I mean anything. You can't rent it on anything. It's not even on Tubi. It's not on Tubi. What's going on? That's like where everything is. But I guess not even Tubi could pull through. So instead, I watched the hit film My Heart Can't Beat Unless You Tell It To. It's a 2020 film, which makes a lot of sense when I go over the premise. Actually, I mean, it was probably shot before COVID. I don't think it's a COVID movie. It just came out in 2020. But yeah, it feels like a 24 horror movie. And I do mean that in a bad way. This is not like a X or a Pearl. This is more along the lines of Lamb or Witch. Those tend to be very hit or miss for me. I think a lot of times that style of horror gets too lost in metaphor and it just becomes cluttered and muddy. And it's just like, okay, I don't understand why. Like, what is the purpose here? Like, I think, and maybe this is just like a bigger criticism of like surrealism at large for me, where it's like you have something to say, you have a message you want to get across. Why would you hide it and make like people work for it? It's like, don't you want people to understand what you're trying to say if it's something that you believe is important? I don't know. That's not a view that everyone subscribes to, but yeah, this movie unfortunately does that. And it's not surrealist in any way. It's just nothing really happens, and I don't care about any of the characters because I think they put too much emphasis on like, we're gonna do a real tale of what it would be like to be a vampire, and it sucks, but that's it. Like it doesn't have any, further it doesn't have anything bigger to say. I don't really know what it's trying to say. It has this like pretentious air about itself that like feels like it has something to say. Like Stalker is a movie that I didn't really like very much, but I could tell that there was stuff going on and there was thought into what exactly was happening, and like the actual story of it, is very loose, but there is a story. My Heart Can't Beat Unless You Tell It To is a story, I guess. I guess. It somehow has less going on than Stalker, which I honestly can't believe. But yeah, it's about a group of three people living in a house, and we don't really leave this house very much. Dwight is our main character. He is in this house with his sister, Jessie, and they are taking care of their little brother, Thomas, who is a child, I guess, who is a vampire. But again, it's not a sexy vampire. This falls in line with the Martin model, where it's like this kid is, it's honestly like really, really sad. Like every time the kid was on screen, it's just like really sad. The kid is like bedridden. He like, he's only awake at night because he's a vampire, but like if he goes a long time without blood, then he like starts going crazy. And by crazy, I mean he goes like catatonic, where like his muscles start twitching and cramping, and it's like horrible. It's this horrible kind of, it's not even really body horror because you don't really see it. It's all just implied because it's one of those movies. Which I think I just kind of have a problem with these types of movies where it's like, it's a horror movie. Show the horror of it. Like, I'm not saying to like include a bunch of jump scares and make it really dumb, but like the point is to, if you want to show how bad it is to be a vampire, show how bad it is to be a vampire. It's like all implied, which is fine. I guess I can connect the dots, but yeah, I watched one movie that showed way too much, and I watched another movie that showed very little. And it's like, man, if someone could take the good parts of both of these and combine them, it would be something really special. But it unfortunately, neither of these did. But basically, the movie kind of starts uninteresting, which is a theme, because what could be interesting with this premise, where it is a brother and a sister taking care of a younger brother who is a vampire, is maybe you see the story of how they start. Maybe they find out that he's a vampire. Maybe that's the opening scene where we see him become a vampire, and it's horrible and scary, and he doesn't really know what's going on. The symptoms are starting to show. He goes outside and his face starts burning, and we see like really great prosthetics of like a burned up face, and then like they have to figure out like, oh, what's going on, and then like they have to realize where it's like the kid hasn't drank blood in a long time. Like, what are we gonna do? We need to feed him food. Oh, that doesn't work. And then like eventually they realize that they're gonna have to kill people and wrestle with that. And it's like that's a good idea. I really wish they did that. But we basically start and they're both fine with killing people. Like we're way past the stage. At this point, it's become a routine. Which I don't know. I guess it's a decision, but basically they're just like, oh, okay. Dwight just lures homeless people into his car, saying that he's going to take them to a shelter, and then they take them back. He knocks them out, and then they take them back to their house where they kill him, and then just drain all of his blood, and then just feed it to Thomas. Thomas, I think it's implied that he doesn't really know how the blood shows up. It's just there, and he knows that he shouldn't waste it because that's something that they really pound into his head. But it's like, I don't know if he like completely connects the dots that like he has like the how the blood is obtained, because he is a child and they shelter him, and it's very controlling. And so it's kind of just like we're watching their routine, their lives, and like everybody's kind of miserable. Thomas wants to socialize with people his age and wants to like meet kids and have friends, and he's tired of being locked up all the time. And Dwight is pretty much done killing people. Maybe by the end of the first act, he's kind of just like, I'm really tired. I'm miserable. All I'm doing is murdering people for my little brother, and I don't really want to be doing that anymore. Because, Thomas isn't happy. I'm not happy. Jessie kind of is just like, she's kind of the one that's in charge. She is like, well, we need to be killing people because Thomas needs to drink blood. And so it's like, oh, okay. So she kind of is like I don't know. It's kind of a trope, and I don't really think it's a positive one, where it's like, let's have the lady be super controlling and evil, and then like the two sympathetic leads are the dudes, because women be nagging. That's kind of the vibe I got from this, where it's like she's very much in control and very like controlling of like what Thomas knows and what he doesn't know. And it's like, man, like this feels old. It came out, less than 5 years ago, and it feels like it came out in the 70s or 80s based on like how it's treating. It's like one female. Okay, there's another female character, and it's a prostitute, that Dwight sees because it's like his only like form of human contact that he has, that he doesn't murder. But they do have sex, but I don't think it's like that type of relationship. He's not like going there seeking sex, because they have sex and then it's just like, then they just kind of talk, and it almost feels like the prostitute is like a sub for like uh, a therapist or some other like emotional connection, or maybe an actual relationship, that you don't have to pay someone for. It kind of just like feels like she's filling in that role that he doesn't really have in his life. So yeah, the two female characters are a prostitute and a super controlling lady. Um, I don't know. It just, let me see. Okay, it is written and directed by a man. I'm not going to say that, that explains everything, because men are capable of writing strong female characters when they want to. But I will say it says a lot, and I'll just leave it at that. But its biggest crime is being really boring and not doing anything with the premise. It's just like, you could have done something great. Like you've created a skeleton of a really great horror movie idea that for some reason you just didn't do anything with, and it ends on such like I guess a melancholic note, where it's like, okay, spoilers for this terrible movie that no one should see. But basically, by the end of the movie, Thomas has lured a kid his age to come into his house, which honestly, that's the most unbelievable thing that happens in this movie, because Thomas, I think like right around when the kids are getting home, he like wakes up, so he hears them outside, and so he goes and throws a paper airplane out of his window. Or no, he throws it out of the front door. He walks out the front door, right, under the like, there's like a foyer or something, like right in front. So he's covered from the sun, and he throws it. But as he's throwing it, Dwight like covers him with a blanket and yanks him inside. And the kids see that, And one of them picks up the paper airplane, comes back later, and is like, "Hey, what's up?" And then Thomas is like, "Yo, another kid. You should come inside." And the kid just like, "Oh yeah, sure, whatever." And then does. And it's like, why would you go in this house? You saw Thomas get ripped away in a blanket like a cartoon net. And you're like, "Oh, I need to check this out." And not only that, I need to go in the house. It's not even like, "Oh, I might want to let someone know that there might be a kidnapped victim in this house." I need to investigate it personally as a 16-year-old. Okay, that's the most unbelievable part. Where it's like, no 16-year-old is going to, grab a paper airplane and be like, "I need to take this on myself. I'm a high schooler. My hormones are going crazy. I need to do something. I need to do some investigative journalism." But he doesn't even have that. It's not like a reporter, that archetype. It's just a guy. It's just like, okay, I get it. Like, you want to have an outside person come in and then see the blood and then have that react with like Thomas just being like, "Oh, it's normal. You should try some of this blood that I drank." And then the kid's like, "Oh, okay. Oh, gross, blood." And then, Jesse and Dwight catch him. So then they have to kill the kid. And it's just like, okay, I get it. You have to get to that plot point, but it's done so sloppily and unrealistically that it's kind of you just can't take it seriously. Like, you're trying so hard to show like how a real vampire would operate in this world, but you everything surrounding it is so unrealistic that it's dumb. But yeah, so basically the kid does escape, and in his escape, he stabs Jesse, and Jesse unfortunately croaks. But okay, this is another thing. Jesse dies in the bathtub, and okay, I don't mean to be all like movie mistake, but she dies in the bathtub. The knife is like in her stomach, and we see her in the bathtub, and the bathtub is full of blood. I don't know if there's a full bathtub full of blood in your body at any point, because I know how big a person is, and if you empty out a person, I don't think that would fill a bathtub. But the knife is still in her. Blood shouldn't be flowing out like that. She takes the knife out once the blood is already full up to the top of the tub. I don't think that that's how that works. But you have to have a bathtub full of blood so that Thomas can get in the bath with the dead sister and have that be like a huge moment where it's like, "Oh, isn't this so fucked up?" And it's like, "Yeah, sure, I guess." It doesn't. What is this movie? Does it want to be taken seriously as like this artsy, real portrayal of a vampire, or does it want to be a schlocky cartoon vampire movie and it really can't decide at the end? And it's just pick one or the other. Like, I don't understand. But whatever. And then Dwight kills Thomas because Thomas is like, "Pulled a plug on me." Because that's what this movie has been secretly about this whole time, is that sometimes physician assisted suicide, or maybe suicide in general, is a good thing. So I think that's ultimately the message of the film. Or maybe it's only a good thing if you're a vampire, I guess. I guess. But and then I will say this. You know that this movie wanted to be really artsy and pretentious because, and I hate to do this, it's in 4:3, which is either the best decision a movie can make or the absolute worst decision a movie can make. It's the worst decision that this movie could have made, because it really was like, "Oh no, this feels like your Zack Snyder Justice Leaguing it," where it's like, "Oh, this is our artistic vision. Like, we have to be super artsy." and like every shot is shot like an A24 movie where it's really beautiful with like those really kind of muted colors, and then by the end of the movie the colors kind of come out and it's like very stylized, and it's like tech on a technical level this movie is very, very good, but everything surrounding it is absolutely terrible. I guess the performances are fine. Thomas is probably the best performance as a weirdo outcast vampire child, but everyone else is just fine. And yeah, that's pretty much it for my heart can't beat unless you tell it to. A terrible, terrible movie about vampires. I really wish I could have seen Near Dark because I've heard that's really good. Or, like maybe exactly what I was talking about in terms of like a great idea. I think Near Dark is about a group of vampires, and each one is at like a different stage of like whatever vampirism, where there's people that have been alive for like 200 years, and then there's like, you know, people that have been around for 50 years, and then there's like a newly made vampire. And so like we kind of see the stages of it where like, well, this person has to learn how to, you know, kill people and drink their blood, has to get accustomed to it. Whereas the person that's been doing it for 200 years is like completely desensitized to it. And that's an interesting story and one that I was excited to watch. Instead, I watched Family that kills people, and nothing interesting happens. And yeah, there's pretty much no reason for anyone to watch this movie ever. So yeah, stay away. I will. That's what I will say. Watch Martin. Martin is pretty. It's okay. It's okay. You know, just go in that you might have to like not watch some of the scenes because it's really uncomfortable. But yeah, I don't know. It's fine. Whatever. That's pretty much it for vampire fun. I guess you could call this fun, talking about two movies that I didn't really like all that much. So yeah, I'm just gonna throw it on over to Babby for the music part because I'm just sad and defeated.
Me too.
Nice.
Uh, just in general though.
Okay. Thank you for clearing that up.
Of course, we have some pretty decent stuff this week, so I don't want to set the tone as something not great.
Oh, okay.
Um, I think it's mostly news this week though. This is the I don't want to say a slow week, but compared to the rest of the month, it's a slower week.
Sure.
Um, so I guess we'll start with some news. October's not stopping because Tyler the Creator
Oh yeah.
has teased and released a single and announced an album release date all in 1 week.
Yeah.
Uh, Applause for that. Thank
Yes.
God. He is so good at just getting straight to the point,
Mm-hmm.
and the rollouts are still fun and interesting, but they do not linger for a second more than they need to. Um, so, bravo. He's the best in the game when it comes to that.
Yes.
This also comes out on a Monday, so October 28th,
Oh.
um, which is cool. I like it. I think he kind of explained this as just being like, he remembers when music used to come out on Tuesdays and how he feels like people interact with the art a lot more seriously when it comes out in the middle of the week when you're just doing your day to day life and not on a Friday when everybody's about to go into the weekend and there's so many other things that you could possibly be doing instead of like giving this music your time, which makes complete sense. Um, so, yeah, but the new record is Chromacopia, very edgy uh, cover art. It's pretty cool. I really like it.
I like it.
I think it's pretty sick. We got the first track today, which is called Noid, um, and it sounds great. There's a music video with it. The music video, weirdly, is only like 2.5 minutes. Um, the actual song is more like 5 minutes, which is interesting.
Hmm.
So I listened to the video first and then listen to the actual song. The actual song is really great. The video is great as well, but like the full experience of the song is really fantastic. Um, Ao whatever her last name is from the
A
Bear makes a
Debris, yeah.
cameo. Yes.
Hmm.
um, she is in the music video. It was great.
Yes.
Um, I'm really liking the sound of the single. It's kind of a I was expecting 'cause the cover art and everything and the mask and everything like this is going to be an Igor type album, and I think I don't want to like place it as Igor 2 or anything, but he takes a lot of the same things that I think it was going to be very story driven with a character. You can already kind of hear the chunky bass lines and synths he's using on this thing. He's singing, he's rapping, he's doing different voices, different inflections. I think it's going to be kind of an upgraded, beefed up version of the sound palette that he was kind of going with on Igor, um, which I'm very excited for. I love Igor. It's fantastic. Um, so yeah, I'm very excited for this. I will give a full review next week, which is great that I get to say that. I'm
Yeah,
so glad I don't have to wait for this.
I love that.
Um, it's so good. But yeah, super excited. This month is crazy. I'm so glad he's not doing it on a Friday though, because it just splits it up a little bit. There's been too much coming out. Not a bad thing, but it's overwhelming at times. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that is the big news of the week, I would say. There's also a new Absol record coming out. I don't know when that's coming out. Either, I think it's the beginning of next month, November 8th. Um, so another hip hop artist coming back out
A
of nowhere.
TDE off
Uh,
or artist.
yes, crazy.
I
I
know.
I thought SZA was gonna drop this year, and she still might, but like
Yeah. She did
damn,
Saturn, but
she did. And Schoolboy released, so there's been some TTE releases, which is great. Um, this looks like a mixtape they're putting it out as, so I'll be interested to hear that. His last album was pretty solid. Nothing I go back to too much, but hoping he does a good mixtape here. Um, Singles and stuff. We got new FK Twigs, Perfect Stranger, off the new record that comes out in January. It's fantastic. I'm super excited for this album. The two tracks she's given is just like they're so great. Um, it's she kind of overshadowed the weekend single for me, both of the weekend singles.
oh, there's
Um,
another weekend single.
there's one with Playboy Cardi. Yeah, it's
Oh, that one. Okay, that's a
yes.
Playboy Cardi song, right?
No, it's a weekend song.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Um, we didn't talk about that song, but I
We
don't
didn't.
really remember much of it to be honest. Maybe it'll sound better in the context of the album.
I
Um,
guess.
yeah, but I don't know. I love the direction Twigs is going in. It's very housey, futuristic, but still got that soul and just gorgeous vocals. Kind of Bjork like and how like robotic and surreal it is. So I'm very excited for the record. I think it's going to be really great, just based off the two singles. Um, but yeah, that came out. New mic, Pieces of a Dream. I think this is just a single. This was released with a world tour date with like a bunch of dates.
Oh,
So I think that's kind of what this was for. Um, I'm sad he came to uh, my area like last month, and I was not able to see him unfortunately.
frick.
But he'll be coming around again. I know he will. But the single's pretty good. I love the instrumental on it. It's so funky, and this cover is something else. Um, I think it's a play on that weird Michael Jackson meme where he's all dressed up like that.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, nothing crazy as a single, but I love the beat. It's just quirked up and fun and really nice. Um, so check that out. We got Danny Brown Quaranta Deluxe,
Oh.
which is cool. We got two new songs on it. The rest of the deluxe is just instrumentals to certain songs, but the two songs we got are pretty good. Um, I think Bruiser Wolf does some vocals on Cheaters. I will say, like, these two songs are very depressing when it comes to Danny Brown stuff. Like,
Oh.
especially to put on your deluxe. Like, ooh, Aquaranta's, kind of in that vibe. But they're both really great. It's just like the beat on Keep It To Me is just so like depressing. But two really good deluxe tracks. This record is still really good. I haven't listened to it in a long time. I need to go back to the full thing. But Quaranta was really good. I think it got shoved in. Yeah, it was like middle of November last year. I think it
Oh.
hit too late for me to really get into it. Um, but yeah, good album though.
Is that the
I think
one
it's a good
where
intro into Danny Brown.
is that the one where he says, "I got a Mexican homie named Chinese Mike"?
Yes,
Okay.
one of the best lines ever made.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it's a great record. It balances between like him turning 40 and all like the depressing and weird stuff that comes with that, and then just like songs where he says stuff like that, and it's a great mix. Um, I think it's a good intro to his catalog because it's not like as jarring as like Atrocity Exhibition or 30 or anything like that. A little bit more toned down, but yeah, that came out. We got the new Bon Iver EP, Sable.
We did.
That's going to be on the channel, so will withhold thoughts, but I am really enjoying it. To give one
Oh,
thought, I
it's
suppose.
very good.
It's yeah, I've been listening to it and it's growing every listen. So
Yes.
um, yeah, there's I would say a large potential for something else happening uh, with this thing.
Yeah,
There's
probably.
Bon Iver has the community where there are some sleuths online that like to dig at little hints and
Oh,
stuff, and he likes to put out little teasers and clues. So there's some sleuths out there doing some stuff.
sure.
But I would imagine something else will be coming eventually. So, but it is really good. You can check out the video on it. We're also doing a blood bank reaction. Those will both be out later in the week.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Albums this week. I got two of them. We'll start with the not. We'll finish with the Halloween one this week.
Oh, okay.
There's a couple of records this week. I have not listened to all of them. We got a new Machine Girl record, which people are seeming to enjoy quite a bit. And then there's a new Gene Dawson record as well. Have not gotten to those. I might get to them a little bit later. I just did not. I don't know. Didn't dig into them yet. We did get a new Yeet album though.
Yeet.
Second this year. He's
Oh,
back.
what?
It's called Lifestyle with a Y. I didn't know this was coming out until I saw the cover posted somewhere. I'm like, yo, uh, I don't know what this is. This looks like a cemetery cover if they had budget.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it kind of looks bad. I'm gonna be honest.
it looks bad, but it goes hard. It's bad in a very tasteful way. Like this is, I
Yeah,
think this is a an actual image too, not composited. This is practical, um,
I could see it.
which is really funny. But yeah, so he had 2093 earlier this year, like February early. I really enjoyed that record. I was like not expecting to like it at all, but the weird futuristic sound blended with his weird drugged out like trap sound really well, and there was a lot of just really great instrumental, and like the pacing of it and everything was really nice. It was just super fun and lived up to this kind of cyberpunky aesthetic that he was going for. So this is my first Yeet record that isn't like a, I don't want to say concept, but like that kind of thing. Um, and it's decent. It's definitely not as good as 2093. Um, it's still really fun. I think it goes on for way too long though. It is an hour long, and 22 songs. I think by the time I hit like track 12, I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. I don't know if
Oh,
I need um, these last couple. And I don't think I did because it starts out really strong. The bass is just rocking on these things. The beats are really fun. Um, it does give me like, because I don't really like this genre a lot outside of like Playboy Cardi, but it does give me the same kind of like fun that like Dial It or something gives. Obviously not to that level, but it's fun. I don't know if I have much to say about it because it is a Yeet project. I don't have like a an essay of why the great artistic nature of this thing excels or anything stupid. Um, I will say he does better than every single feature on this record, though. All the features are pretty bad. We got Kodak Black, which
yuck.
didn't do great. I don't know who Summers is. Didn't do great. Don Tolliver, I barely even remember him being on that song.
Sounds about
But
right.
yeah. But he did pretty good. And the bars are funny and ridiculous and weird. And I like it. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about Yeet.
Fair
It
enough.
exists. You can listen to it if you're into that. But yeah, let's get to Halloween Marathon. Big boy. Uh, I didn't go into this. I kind of went in having a plan, and then I kind of just said screw the plan and just listened to what I wanted to that is related to Halloween Marathon, which I think was the way to do it because I was like, I had a lot of like very disturbing and depressing and horrifying albums lined up, and I don't think I'm in the right state to just do that every week because that would be awful. Um, so this week I got Tim Hecker, Virgins from 2013. He is a kind of like ambient drone artist. I've definitely heard of him. I just haven't like gotten into any of his albums yet. Thought I'd choose this one because I was originally like, "Ooh, there's a spooky ghost on the cover. That's Halloweeny." Um, and then I look closer. I'm like, "Oh, that's an Abu Ghraib like image
Oh,
just redone in a church with like." Yeah, I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'm listening to this right now." Um, and it's really fantastic. I think besides Chat Pile, this is like the best Halloween marathon one we've done yet.
oh,
Um, it's really fantastic. It's very eerie, but also gorgeous at the same time. There's like just crazy pianos and like hits of noise and just ambient like creaky old floors and stuff. It's really phenomenal like ambient record, which is something I've been trying to find more of. I feel like once it gets colder outside, I'm immediately like I want more ambient music,
mm,
and I always try to expand that catalog a little bit. Um, but I think just going in like ambient records that I really enjoy, I feel like I need to have a purpose for what is happening and kind of idea of what they're trying to do with the record. So immediately seeing this like image and immediately kind of knowing the context of it, I'm like, okay, I can get into this and kind of understand where it's coming from. Um, it is pretty haunting and chilling, but at the same time, like it just sounds ridiculously good. It's this weird contrast from like this is really pretty, but if you like think about it or listen to it in a certain setting, it completely changes the mood, and it's really interesting. Um, it's a little intense. It's unsettling at certain points because you don't really know where the record's going to go. It has a ton of different like little things it goes into. Um, the piano start out a little bit more happy. You start like with Prism, which has terrifying like harsh noise hits, but then you get like the second track, which just has like arpeggiated pianos that just sound fantastic. Um, yeah, it definitely could like soundtrack a Halloween movie, like literally Halloween. Um, those kind of sharp John Carpenter like
mm.
keys and unsettling nature of that kind of thing. But yeah, it's a phenomenal album. I love this thing. I came out of nowhere. I was like, okay, I'll listen to another ambient one because I do love like I enjoy like I think with horror in any genre, it's like the more ambient horror where it's not in your face, it's not jump scary, it's
Hmm.
more psychological, it sets a mood. Like I'm more towards that in general.
Yeah,
Um, so I really enjoyed this thing. I'm definitely gonna check out more of his stuff because it's sounding really good.
nice.
Um, but I got a couple directions to go when it comes to that. But yeah, it's really great. I think this is the best from the Halloween marathon so far. I think I do have next week's picked out because that'll probably be the last week, I suppose. I think.
Probably, yeah.
Um, I think I'm gonna do Uboa. Uh, Not sure what record yet. There's the origin of my depression, which is kind of staring me in the face, or the one from 2024, Impossible Light. The origin of my depression is one that is definitely marketed as one of the most disturbing, terrifying things out there. So I
Oh,
might end it with a bang because I haven't been like I haven't been avoiding anything too insane, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm not going to go back to back to back. I'm not going to go lingua ignota. I'm not going to do like a shoo shoo record. I'm not going
mm.
to do that because I'm a coward, and that provides ample like emotional damage, which I don't want to take on. But I think I'm going to end with this one because it's got that death industrial, it's got dark ambient, and it's got harsh noise. So those are three things that I really enjoy. I don't know if enjoy is the right word, but I'm into it. Um, and yeah, so that's probably what we'll end with. But I think that's it when it comes to music. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I missed. I don't think so.
No?
I've just been bumping the Elucid in the chat pile. This month has produced like maybe 3 or 4 of my top 5 of this year.
Oh,
So
there you
yeah,
go.
it's not over yet.
No, no, it's not. We have a lot of good stuff coming up, including Soccer Mommy next week. Or I guess this week.
Oh my god. Yes, I'm so excited.
Yeah, that'll be good. I don't think I've listened to any of the singles, so I'm probably just gonna go in blind.
That's
That'll
probably good.
yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, I haven't really listened to anything new this week. Just a lot of Sable. Sable is like really stuck with me,
Hmm.
in a way, which is weird because you would think that Blood Bank would. 'Cause that's
I
maybe
was thinking the same thing. I'm like, is this better than Blood Bank?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I have to listen to Blood Bank again because I listened to it once, but when we did our reaction,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I keep going back to Sable. I honestly forgot we listened to Blood Bank. Like, oh yeah, we did. I should re-listen to that. So maybe tomorrow I'll check it out. But yeah, I've just really been playing that. But I think that's pretty much it in terms of music for me. I've been listening to a lot of Stevie.
Stevie.
Not a lot of, I mean, not a lot, just the one album, Songs in the
Of
Pizza
course.
Slice. I
The
think
best
that's,
album of all time.
yeah, that's what they say. That's what they say. Even though I personally think that uh, I don't know a single AJR album uh, title.
Uh, why don't I either?
That's okay. Okay, orchestra?
The Maybe Man.
Maybe, man.
Reminds me of Bye Bye Man.
Oh, that's what they should have done. Oh, okay, orchestra is okay. Well, I knew that
Yes.
one. It's like, wait, didn't they do
What was
a?
the deal with Weezer doing OK Human and them doing OK Orchestra? What's the deal?
I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. Was that like the same year?
It was pretty close. I think OK Human was 2020 and OK Orchestra was 2021.
They were both 2021.
Weezer copied Radiohead and then AJR copied Weezer.
Okay, yeah, because the Weezer one came out in January of 2021,
Oh, it was really close.
and then March of 2021.
2 months. Wow.
Well, there's no way they turned around an album that fast.
No, that's just crazy.
So it's just weird parallel thinking then, probably.
Interesting.
But why? I mean,
It does happen.
I do kind of get the Weezer thing. Like they were
Mhm.
going, weren't they kind of playing on similar ideas than like the Radiohead one?
Kind of.
You listened to
None
it.
of them really succeeded.
Okay.
I mean that it's a pretty solid Weezer album actually.
Yeah.
I
But
just don't like Weezer, but it
no.
sounds good.
Yeah, yeah. It was just like more of a homage, like
Yes.
directly. But like, what does AJR's OK Orchestra have anything to do with? Like,
No idea.
why are they referencing the Radiohead
Maybe they're
album?
just saying it's an all right orchestra.
I guess. I don't know. Um,
I try not to like give any thought to the group that made Thirsty Thirsty Thursday or the song where they said I want to be like Woody Allen.
they did? When?
Yeah. I think that was on their what album was that on? It's a song called Woody Allen.
Oh
When did
no.
that come out?
Last year.
2015? No.
Okay, let
Oh,
me
it's
see.
on the same album as the SpongeBob song that everybody knows.
Oh, awesome.
Living Room.
2013. Okay,
Yeah, that has Thirsty, it has I'm Ready, and it has Woody Allen all on the same album. We should
I,
do that one on the channel.
I mean, I can add it to my yikes if you
That'd be a good
want.
yikes.
Yeah,
Any of these would be a good yikes.
I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if we knew everything that we
No,
know
I
about
don't
Woody
know,
Allen in 2013.
but it is maybe like the worst age song of all time.
Oh, absolutely. I think, or maybe it was after and they just really want to like marry their stepdaughter or something.
Yeah,
Because that could be.
and they're like a teen pop band.
Yeah. And aren't they all brothers?
I think so.
Okay, then that'd be really weird. It's fine. It's fine. I'm adding Living Room by AJR to my yikes right now.
Like, I'm gonna make you indoor cemetery so you can throw whatever you want.
That's true. I'm like, yay, soccer mommy. Nothing else is going to happen after soccer mommy. I have to live in denial
Yep.
that I'm not going to listen to a cemetery album that's an hour long.
We'll get Bab Jab. It'll be fun. You won't even remember what it sounds like 2 hours after.
Well, I'll remember the general vibe. Although
But yeah,
it's
you
probably
get
not
the
going to
general
be
vibe after 30 seconds.
it's not going to be any different than Rainbow Bridge.
I'm just glad we're doing it in a timely manner where it'll be like a Halloween special. It'll be a couple days late, but I'm glad we're actually doing one.
We're doing a Halloween special that will come out in early November
Yes.
because we're very good at this whole YouTube thing.
We're trying. I think we have an authenticity that a lot of people don't.
Oh yeah? Anyone
Yeah.
you want to
I mean,
call out or
I've been like researching like podcast thumbnails for certain reasons that I'm not going to talk about. And they're all so garbage. It's all the Mr. Beast format where you have to like touch up your
really?
face so much and your eyes are like pearl white to the fact where it's like unsettling.
For podcast?
Yeah.
What the heck?
Like, or if you just search like podcasts on YouTube, it's all like
Oh.
manosphere, like horrible thumbnails. Like I can't find
Oh.
any examples of good thumbnails.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. It's all yeah. Oh,
So beef.
Joe Rogan. I love that guy.
I love Joe.
Did you know that he used to be a commentator for the UFC?
Yes. I think he still is.
Oh, I didn't know
He also
that.
did Fear Factor when he had hair.
He did. He did. A very good show, actually.
Yeah. I don't know why my parents liked watching that
I
show.
don't I don't know why I said it was a good show. I've never seen it. And
It's
I don't
awful.
I don't think I would like to.
It
Is
is
it?
the epitome of like American like reality competition shows.
Oh.
Like Wipeout's at least funny.
Oh,
This
Wipeout's
one's just like
great.
watching people suffer
Yeah.
for any amount of money.
Yeah, that's true. That kind of sucks. That feels more exploitation-y than Wipeout does because I feel like everybody on Wipeout knows what they're getting into.
Yeah.
It's like,
And it's like sometimes it's like athletes.
well, that's true. It's like you try out to go to American Ninja Warrior, and if you don't get in, you go to Wipeout.
Yeah. And then you own at Wipeout because you're already more than what they were expecting.
That's right. Even if you can't do the ladder thing where you have to get the pole up the notches,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. You can just go onto big balls and just jump on them.
Exactly.
Just don't slip. That's the trick.
Nobody ever slipped.
That's the trick when it comes to the big balls. I don't think anyone ever realizes is that you just don't slip.
Don't go down.
Yeah, if you don't slip, then you won't lose. But I think everyone's just like, well, if you slip, you win. But turns out, no, that's not true. Most of the people that slip get kicked off the show. So
It's true. I played Wipeout on the Wii and I was pretty good at it. So.
I was too. I'm pretty sure that would translate perfectly into me being on the show, which is probably still being made.
I don't know. I feel like we're past the era of like injuring people for reality television.
Oh,
At least in like the traditional sense, like a Wipeout or something.
that's true. Yeah,
Now
Wipeout.
we just do Mr. Beast like 1,000 person Squid Game real life challenge.
It's a different kind of exploitation, I guess.
It is. The exploitation just takes different forms.
Yeah. I'm sad to say Wipeout has been off the air since 2014.
Wow.
So we're 10 years too late.
That's a pretty good lifespan for it, I think.
Yeah, it had 7 seasons.
Didn't overstay its welcome too much.
No. It's just 7 years. It was there and then it was gone, and they made 5 Wii games about it. And then it was that's
Their
it.
money and left.
Yeah. ABC had a nice check, gave a cut to the House of Mouse, and then I'm going to say that the Marvel Cinematic Universe was financed through Wipeout.
That would not surprise me.
Wipeout and Extreme Makeover Home Edition are the 2 things that bankrolled the first Iron Man movie. That's That's my head canon. And actually, it's completely false because Disney didn't own Marvel when the first Iron Man came out.
That's true.
It wasn't until Iron Man 2.
The best movie.
Maybe they got the funds to buy Marvel from Wipeout and Extreme Makeover Home Edition and not all of the parks and the movies.
Of course.
Yeah, that's what I have to believe. That's my canon. And if Michael Eisner wants to correct us in the comments, he's welcome to. If he's still alive, I don't know if he is. Kind of a terrible CEO in general, although I guess that's kind of oxymoronic, but he didn't really know how to
Some
run
are
the
slightly
company.
better than others.
Yeah, yeah. Not like, who's the one now? Who's the CEO of Disney? Doug Bowser. What's
Doug Bowser.
what's
No. But
Bob Iger. That's it. Which he's getting replaced. Bob Iger.
oh,
Yeah, I know. Scary stuff.
maybe it will be Doug Bowser.
We can only hope. I hope that Doug Bowser becomes the CEO of Disney so that Reggie can come back. That's my dream.
I think like the more I think, I'm like, I don't want Trump to be president, but I want him to be like literally any other position. You know how fun a Trump CEO at Disney would be?
I don't. What would even happen?
He's got the showmanship in him. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
He's
yeah.
free. He likes the theater.
Well, he does. He does. But like, what is? I guess I don't know how involved Bob Iger is, and like, what things are being made.
That's true.
I mean, maybe to an extent, it's just like make more sequels or
He doesn't
remake
even have to
old
do
movies.
anything. He can just be a talking head. I just want him to be in a position of power where anything he does like doesn't really matter, so we can just laugh at him being funny.
Oh, okay. So you just want it to go like back before 2016. You just want that.
Yeah, I need that guy back.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's still goofy. He still drinks
he's still
water
goofy.
weirdly.
Yes.
He's still got that. Okay. Why does he do that? Why every time he drinks water, he holds it with two hands and the very tips of his
very
fingers
careful.
and then sips very
careful.
daintily. It's like
It was one of his TV things. Is like you can't spill water on yourself. It makes you look not CEO like or you have to be very careful.
oh, but it looks worse. It looks like he's a little coward, a little baby. Doesn't know how to drink water. I don't know. It's just
I love his mannerisms. Though.
yeah.
They're perfect.
Yeah, if he wasn't like as dangerous as he is, he would be very funny to watch.
Yes.
I'll just put it that way.
He's hilarious.
Yeah.
I just need him away from the one thing he's doing right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Anywhere else,
yeah.
I'll be okay.
That's true. That's true. And Kamala is a girl boss, so that's pretty sick.
Yep.
You know what? Bob Iger should run for president. I have no reason to believe that Bob Iger wouldn't make a great president.
At this point, it doesn't matter. But whoever, stick your hat in the ring.
That's right. Some people would say Bob Iger, he's too old. He's 73.
Pretty young.
Pretty young for president. Yeah. It's fine. He could do it. And, everybody has nothing but positive things to say about Bob Iger. And by everybody, I mean pretty much nobody. I don't think anyone likes Bob Iger. I think they tried to kick him out, and then he came back. He was like, "I'm back." For some reason, I don't know. Oh,
That's politics.
that's politics, and that's business.
Yes.
We love business here.
Heavily intertwined.
Yes,
We are a
yes.
business podcast.
In a way, we talk about the business of life.
The business.
We talk about the business. Show business. That's the only business I care about. My agent is on the phone. I got a Hollywood star on the Walk of Fame. It's so cool. It's right in front of the Chinese. Is it called the Oriental Theater? Are we allowed to call it that?
I guess so.
Okay. Is that what it's called?
I think it is.
Okay. Yeah, there's an Oriental Theater in Milwaukee, so you have some
There is, yeah.
explaining to do.
Yes. I've been there once or twice.
There appears to be an Oriental Theater in most big cities.
Yeah.
Chicago, Denver, Hollywood, and of course, Rochester, PA.
God.
So, yeah, okay. This podcast has gone on long enough, but I've heard two people say Oriental recently to describe Asian people. What is going on?
I don't think the racism against Asians ever left.
Okay.
I don't think we've gotten that far as a society.
I was just shocked. The first time I was like, wait, did you just say Oriental? Like, it was like, oh, I don't know. She's like an Oriental. And I'm like, oh, okay. One sec. Got to readjust for a second. And then the second time I'm like, okay, there's a pattern here.
Yeah.
Why have I heard
Like,
people
just call up Dwight D. Eisenhower and ask him about that.
Yeah. He'd have some things to say about that.
Many things.
Yeah. Korea. Wasn't he the Korea man?
He was partly the Korean.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he probably said worse things than Oriental.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The fact that I'm not saying the things that Dwight Eisenhower probably said about Asian people,
Yes.
and I'm saying Oriental, I think that says, scales of magnitude here. I guess you can name a theater a slur.
I don't think it's.
Is it a slur? I guess it's not really a slur. I don't know. Just something to think about, I guess.
Something to think about.
Yeah, something to ponder. We like ending the podcasts with a little nugget of an idea for you to munch on for a week.
These are the best parts of our podcast.
I agree. But that being said, I don't have anything else to say. So, bye.